After 25 to 30 years of just drinking a little more than I should and progressively getting worse, that one sentence changed my life.
I was a dishwasher. I was making $3.50 an hour. The cigarettes were four and a quarter, and I fucking smoked 2 packs a day. So I quit smoking. 7 years later, I retired. I'm freaking millionaire. I don't know anybody who's really successful, they didn't screw up or they didn't go through huge breakup or lots of very close ones. When those lessons start hitting me, I wasn't ready emotionally. I was drinking. He was coming to the man cave. This is the man cave. This is for me. It's a reset time, you know?
It'd be like a Sunday and he'd be like with his friends. Like we couldn't go in there. We couldn't, like, it was just like his own area.
When I encourage someone, they want to learn everything I have, the best thing I would say, work on yourself. Are you willing to go to that? Hey, go to this event, do this, read this book, do that podcast. You're like, done. Listen to your heart and your gut. That is so important.
You know, my jets can be taken away, my buildings, my houses, all my homes, but nobody can take this. And God's gonna show me the way. If I'm around people right now that withdraw energy, that was nice to meet you, motherfucker. Yeah. We're done.
The main takeaway today is that it's all about like your mindset. So if you put your mind to it, you can do whatever you want.
You know, I always say it takes no more energy to dream big than to dream small. You're just speaking numbers into the air. You kind of touched on it today. What difference does it make? $1 billion, I'll fucking lose it, I'll make it back. It's just numbers. Yeah. And that's what the people where I'm from don't really understand. They're looking for realistic goals, or they have parents that have never made more than 20 grand, or they're generational welfare recipients. There's very little hope. So my goal is to go back and provide some hope, provide real life examples that can plant the seeds of growth and you know, personal development, emotional intelligence, all the things we learn along our own journeys. So, you know, I'm honored to have you today, Jarek. And I'm even more honored and privileged to have your son here, because this was just kind of like, it just fell into our laps. But who's a greater mentor to children than their parents, let alone, you know, a father and his son?
Can I tell the story about you in the car? The question I asked you?
Oh, yeah.
Is that okay? This story's got to be shared.
Of course.
I think this is true wealth. And obviously I'm fortunate to meet Jarek, and he's been mentoring me, but I get to meet this young man. He's 13 years old, and we're chatting in the back of the car. The plane lands, the Uber ride, and you're on the phone talking to the driver. You're handling everything. And I asked him, we just got to know each other, and I was like, what do you want to do when you grow up? And I just think this is such wealth. This is wealth. Money is money. It's overrated, but this was wealth. And he didn't even know you. You wouldn't have heard anything. And I said, what do you want to be when you grow up? He's like, I just want to be like my dad. I want to be my dad. And that was like touching. That was, and you weren't, you know, he didn't do it to get credit. He didn't do anything for you. He was just honest. And what you talk about, and you've taught me more than anything, was present. And he was like, I just want to be like my dad. My dad's my best friend. And that's wealth to me, I think. And that's so cool. That's like the highest honor.
And you know what, it's funny that I did hear that.
Oh.
I was just enjoying the moment. I was pretending I didn't want to make him to feel bad or like you like that. And I was just, and it's funny, I told my queen, I told everybody that, I told Raul, it's like, that this was like the best compliment I can possibly can. And I pretended, I never give him a credit, and I can't believe it, you just either called us out. And it was like, I stopped, like everything stopped. When he said that, like I thought that, because in my journey lately, I'm trying to be present, even though the Uber driver, he was stressed out and everything was going on. So I just want to make sure that he's everything okay. And with the baggage, like the guy is now following us, but I'm still like present. And we cannot multitask. You know that we men cannot multitask. Right. But when you asked the question, I heard this, and then when I saw his answer, like everything fucking dropped. I was like, fuck, he did not say that. And I was like we could not script this better. No. And I was just sitting.
That made the trip, to be honest.
No.
And I was sitting and I was just enjoying the moment. I'm like, and it's like, I want him to think like that. And I'm sorry I never talked to you about last night about it, but I just want to enjoy the moment, because this was like, fuck God, I'm doing something right here. I'm doing something right. You know what I mean? Yeah. Because the kids, truly the kids, they only You can tell the kids, I get mad at him, I get pissed off, I get like, you know what I mean? Because he doesn't know yet. His expectation, I'm gonna expect a lot more from him than anybody else. So he's pretty much, it's a gift and a curse. Right, you know what I mean? Right. Because he's, even look at, I've been sitting right now in this right here, you know, in the middle of New York and the room and having the podcast. It doesn't hit him yet.
Right.
But I was just telling Daniel that it's like, Daniel, like I wish I was you, like having all the knowledge and being, you know, access to being 31. Oh. And then Patrick was next to me and I like, Daniel, he's 13.
Right. But that's the beauty. That's not your story, right?
Yeah.
That may be Daniel's story and Daniel will have that clarity earlier on. But you needed to fuck up. You needed to do your best
how honest and transparent
to destroy,
you are.
yeah.
You know what that creates with you too? No. Most people do not share all that stuff, with their parents. I would kill to have that relationship with my family. I would kill for that.
My father is still like, I told my parents a few months ago, my parents never said to each other, I love you. Right. So I grew up in very, very like, you know, Eastern European family that, you know, they love, this is something in there. And I told, truly 2 months ago, I told my parents that I love you. My mom called my father, we're on the FaceTime. Did you hear what he said? He said, I love you. Don't ever use those fucking words. This is illusion, this is not true. You show love you. I'm like, whoa, okay. Like, I don't want to build a relationship with my kids, with my, you know what I mean?
Right.
And it's like the connection is real.
This was too far off for them to understand where this was coming from, because this is the new version of you, which is what I was getting at, which is you had to go through your pain, you had to go through your struggles, you had to go through the fuck-ups and be honest with yourself in order to transform into the new you. And you've been blessed enough to, you know, make good sums of money and do well for yourself. But it sounds like, and correct me if I'm wrong, the most valuable thing that you've gained from this is your ability to kind of lower that wall that was spoken about earlier in the seminar, and be able to be vulnerable with the people that you love the most.
You know, it's funny, I was just saying that when I came here, I was 21 years old. I did not speak any English. I was a dishwasher. I quit smoking cigarettes because I was making $3.50 an hour, and I was, you know, in New York City. So the cigarettes were $4.25, wow. And I fucking smoked 2 packs a day. So I'm like, I'm not working 2 hours just to have a, you know what I mean, to wash dishes, just to. So I quit smoking, like immediately. I couldn't afford it, right. You know. And then suddenly, 7 years later, I retired. And I'm a freaking millionaire. I got stupid. Can you, like, coming from nowhere, right. You know? And it's like, I got completely stupid. And then, but it was just going through everything and not appreciate. When we get something too quickly, we do not appreciate, because then we think it's given. And, you know, it's funny, the devil always give you bribes. You're good enough, you make this, you this. And it's this, and the only thing he's give you snacks if you want to, you know. And then you get a taste of it. It's like, oh yeah, I deserve this shit. And that feeds your ego, and you forget the real reason why we're here. And then I went through the journey, completely lost journey for years and years to come. It took me so many failures to get to wake the fuck up.
Is that what you were teaching us earlier today when we were doing the scores of, 1 to 10, and people were putting 8s and 9s, and you were like, be careful of saying you're doing 8 or 9 because you get a little cocky or a little arrogant, and you think you have the Midas touch. And God will put you in your place pretty quickly in today's world. You know, it's funny because that's what happened is the second we think we got it. Right. And again, Daniel, I'm sorry I'm putting you on the spot a lot because, I mean, we talk a lot, and, like he reminds me, he's got the spark when I was young. Yeah. And I just want him to do not fuck the shit up. Don't fuck the shit up because, we get stupid. And what happened is when we reach those numbers 7 and 8, we go into, and we talk about it, the comfort. Right. Yeah. The second we start feeling comfortable, the drive disappears, everything else. And they lose the hunger. Yeah, it's like drifting. Dishwasher. Exactly. Yeah. You know what I mean?
You forgot the cigarettes you couldn't afford.
Yes. Right. Yes.
So what took you from washing dishes, not being able to afford that extra tax New York City loves to put on cigarettes? I think they're $13 or $14 now.
Wow.
So what brought you from dishwasher to where you are now, and obviously there's a progression, what are, or who would you say you can attribute some of that early success to? Who was a mentor of yours that got you from a place where you were doing dishes for minimum wage to the next step?
You know, it's funny. Number one, I always have work ethics because I was a swimmer.
Right.
You know what I mean? And my father was hardcore. I mean, he was tough on me. It's that I was first place. Yeah, but did you get your personal record? No. Well, then you didn't do good. Okay. Then I was second, but I got the best. I beat my PR like by a second. Yeah, but you were not first. So he already put it. So it's always like very, very strict. And then on the end of it, like I was young, I was swimming 6 hours a day, you know, in the Eastern Bloc. So what happened? I learned the work ethics. So it's funny, like what something when people say, oh, it's like this is hard. This is normal. Like I didn't know what hard is after being a child, being 10, 12, 13 years old, just constantly swimming and practicing for 6 hours a day. Suddenly, when you become adult, everything is easy because you learn the discipline that like that's what we're supposed to do. I didn't like, Jarek, you different. What do you mean I'm different? That's what we're supposed to do. You're supposed to, like, you know, my queen, she gives me so much. When we met like 4 years ago, she was keep giving me, this is not what people do. What do you mean? That's what you do. It's like people don't do like Ironman on regular Tuesday.
Right.
What do you mean?
You figure it out.
What do you mean? What do you do?
So-
Ironman, like it's like, you know what I mean?
Your father's a mentor of sorts to you.
It was the first one. I think the coaches and the swimming, the practice, and definitely my father, because he never let me have it.
The satisfaction,
the satisfaction.
the
He
pat on
never
the
gave
back,
you your 9
Yeah.
or 10.
But remember, it's a gift and a curse.
the approval.
But
So-
because like today, I'm still
Right.
crying and I'm the not enoughness, and that's why like even today we did the ritual, and I came to him and I hugged him because I give him all the pain. You know what I mean? Because that's, you know, because we see in our people that are close to us, it's like a mirror.
Right.
What you missing, everything that triggers you, that's what you see in other people. It's actually, that's what you're still working on, and that's what you need.
So you're, as a kid, you're seeking your father's approval. There's plenty of world-class athletes, boxers. One that comes to mind in particular is Oscar De La Hoya, where his father doesn't tell him he loves him until his first loss. Now, this is Oscar De La Hoya, the golden boy. If you're familiar with boxing, he wins Olympic gold. He goes on to win belts. And it's not till he loses his first fight to Felix Trinidad that his father comes over to him and gives him a hug and tells him, I love you, which obviously just shook up his entire world. Now, what's the difference, the new version, the best version of you, the always improving version, let me be clear, and your relationship with Patrick as opposed to your relationship with your dad and that seeking of approval?
And then let's have Patrick answer that as well after.
You know what? The biggest change, and then I don't want to sound like a prick to my dad, but that's fatherhood. That's what was my role model. My father was a role model because that's the only thing I knew. The older I got, I realized parenting is so hard. I have no idea what I'm freaking doing. And I know you have 2 kids because I heard you speaking today, so I know you have 2 kids.
Yes.
So well, I have 4 and now I have 5. So what happened is, and I thought that's what we as a dad's supposed to do. You're taking care of, you know, you're taking care of, that's it, you know, leave me alone, you know, I got this, you got everything, and it's like, you know, dad needs a space. So I was completely not present, and just I was telling my kids, like I want to. It was funny that when you're not ready, you're not ready. Okay.
Yeah.
So I always want to teach my kids not what I didn't have, but I want to teach what I didn't know. But the problem, I didn't know shit. I realized I went through life lucky, by luck. You know, all my businesses, everything, you know, if you never fail, you kind of like get lucky and you take it for granted. You know, suddenly when the failures start hitting, you got to go to work because pain is the best lessons.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? I don't know, and believe me, guys,
Your
I don't
worst
know-
day is someone's best.
yes, I don't know anybody who's really, really successful they didn't screw up or they didn't go through huge breakup or lots of very close ones, you know, kid or, you know, I mean, they did not break him down. I don't know anybody. And when those lessons started hitting me, I wasn't ready emotionally. So I wasn't present. I wasn't, you know, I was drinking, you know, he was coming to the man cave. This is the man cave. This is for me. It's a reset time, you know. Or I was on the phone. Shut up. Like, I didn't say shut up. I said, like, you know, leave me alone. It's like, you know, the kids want, I didn't allow him in this space until I started working on myself, you know, quit alcohol, started like, shit, I gotta be present for my kids. And I'm still learning. I still fuck it up. I think like a week ago, I apologized to him. I'm sorry I lost it. Like, you know, I like, you know, I'm working on it so I don't lose it all the time. But you trigger shit out of me.
That's what their
You know what I
job
mean?
is.
He's there to push you.
Yeah.
No
I
one
would
told
say
you that.
another takeaway about you that I've learned, and then Pat, you got to jump in, but I love your ability to say, I don't know everything. Just because I have, you know, 10 figures in assets and you got everything figured out, you admittedly said, hey, I need a personal assistant to say, I want to be devoted to Patrick. I want to be available to all of my children and my queen and date night. I need somebody to help me because you're juggling balls all over. I love that you said that. I'm like, I want somebody I need just to tell me, hey, go play, you know, go hang out with you. He literally told me, he's like, I'm going to hire somebody to just make sure I focus on you. And I'm like, how many parents think to do that? Like, I know I can't do everything. I'm gonna hire somebody, just make sure that I get to date night and I make your stuff and I do whatever, travel just with each individual child. I loved that. And then you said, which was really cool because about reading, you read, we're avid readers. We all are avid readers. And your kids notice a lot of times we have Audible. And you're like, all right.
They have no idea I read.
They don't know what you're doing.
For years, he didn't know I read
didn't
anything.
know. So cool. I loved this. What he said was, he's like, you know what I did? I just decided to fix that. And he knew that. He grasped it. And he's like, I want my kids to love to read, so I'm going to physically read the books. He likes Audible, but I was like, I want my kids to see me going page to page to page.
Because I don't get
hours.
the education. This education
I know.
doesn't get from nowhere.
I would have never
you
thought
gotta
of that
do
neat
the
idea.
So you're old enough and you're wise enough, because I've spoken to you off camera, and you're a sharp 13-year-old. How long have you been sober, Jarek?
3 years.
3 years.
So you've seen the difference. What does that look like? What's different in your dad?
Well, it's much different because like 4 years ago, it would be like a Sunday and he would be like with his friends, like all drinking and stuff, and like we couldn't go in there. We could like it was just like his own area. But now he actually like communicates with us and like stays with us, and he's not like drunk and doesn't ignore us on the weekends. Like no more Sunday football like he was talking about, and like all that
So
stuff.
he's present.
Yeah.
Now,
He's more
That's an
present.
amazing takeaway. Just today was present.
how does that make you feel about your relationship with him? And he's obviously honest with us, and I'm guessing he's pretty honest with you. He doesn't try to shade you from the true self that,
love that.
you know, that he, or the true person that he was, and show you the work it's going to take to step into this new person. Do you feel like you're getting that attention, you're getting those needs met for yourself that maybe he didn't get as a child of his father? And not a knock on our parents. Our parents always do the best they can with what they know how. And, you know, once you start working on yourself, that's an ever-developing, you know, skill. So parenting, you know, there's no playbook for it. But how does that make you feel, knowing that with this newfound freedom, he's decided to give you more of himself?
Well, I love it so much. I love how he's always present. And like he told me about his father. His father never went to his, you know, swimming races, swimming meets, no practices. My dad goes to all my practices, my games, everything. He's always present. Whenever I want to do something with me, he always does it with me. And I'm very grateful to have the opportunity to do that.
Very cool. So what are some of the things you've learned from your dad in terms of helping you learn about money, the value of money, some of the things he's mentored you on in terms of business, even at this young age?
The flying. You should mention the flying. The story in there, riding in the coach and the other guy. I mean, that's a good story. I mean, the humility that you have, I feel the guy is, he's just such a you're
Golden
13.
story that we were
You're-
sitting in
you're-
a car.
in the back of the
Yeah.
plane, and you know you got two
Yeah.
jets, and you're like the gratitude and the kindness, and you're like, I get it. Dad is teaching me not to be a spoiled brat, and you have none of that. You have such raw vulnerability and transparency. It's just you don't see that. You really don't. But I love the plane story. I think that was cool too.
I don't know the plane story, so I gotta hear the plane story now.
So what happened is even we not only fly our plane, sometimes like fly with them, and we fly economy. And even when I was flying, sometimes I fly first and they fly economy, but we fly economy and it was a month and a half ago.
2 months.
And my neighbor,
February.
February, my neighbor, very fortunate, beyond, like beyond.
Yeah.
And we walking into the plane, and we have the last seat by the toilets, and he's got 4 kids.
That'll humble you.
He's got the 4 kids, and then we're sitting in each other, and me and him, we didn't even he's carry his book, I carry my book. We just look at each other in the eyes, and we're like,
The fuck are we doing back here?
Yeah. But
we knew exactly what we're doing there.
And now
And
he
then
knows.
we sit down, and it was so funny. And you can tell the story like how you said. And then we sit down, and of course, like he wants to be next to the window. I'm in the middle, Lily next to it, and he goes like, they in front of us, so he doesn't want to be loud. And he goes, I'm like, yeah. And he goes, I'm like, Dad, he not only can buy the whole plane, he can buy the airlines.
Yeah.
I'm like, yeah.
That's a good friend.
I'm like, yeah. You know what I mean? And he goes, oh, I thought that you the douchebag, that you're teaching us the lessons. This is like, all the guys. I'm like, phew, lesson accomplished. You
And
know
how
what I mean?
hard did that lesson hit for you? You're so humble. That's so effective.
How did that,
How did
like
that
when you
feel?
saw it as somebody,
And you're
dad,
like, my dad does get it.
I mean, like I understood that you're teaching us a lesson, like you're not trying to like spoil us, cause like sure I'm getting all this stuff when I'm younger, and then like I move out, and then like what happens? Like I'm not gonna be like used to it. So you were just trying to like teach us a lesson, and then when I saw that the Chen came on, that like you're not like the only person that does that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
you know what I mean? So I get the validation.
Value.
Because
Right.
if I was telling them that, there would be different stories.
Right. Well, our kids rarely listen to us, right? They see us.
But
See that.
exactly,
They follow our
they
lead.
see
They
it,
follow your
yeah.
They
actions.
see
Yeah, I
us
can
and they
see that.
follow our lead. Rarely do the words that come out of our mouth make any. It's like Charlie Brown. I don't know if you're familiar with the cartoon, but anytime the parents come in the room, all you hear is wah 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 wah, because that's what kids. I have a 6-year-old, and that's
But
what
like
she
I would
hears.
tell him, like, don't drink, and then I'm drinking. Don't smoke, and I'm smoking.
Right.
Right,
example.
follow your
And-
action.
and-
And same with all of us as leaders.
Yes.
If you're on social media or you're trying to inspire, they're going to look at your individual personal life.
they're
Like
gonna
we
try
had
to
talked
pick you
about
apart for
before.
sure.
If you're unfaithful or you're mean to your employees or you cheat on your wife, whatever, I don't want to be business partners with you.
I don't
right?
want to be next to
I have
you.
no desire if you're doing all these naughty things. We're just not. Our values don't align.
Yeah.
I would agree with that.
And the same thing, I'm not going to go through the process with somebody. Just let him go, and maybe our road cross again when
Again
you learn the
sometime.
lessons 10 years from now. But right now, like a lot of times in life, it's the timing has to be the right timing. You know what I mean? You ask me, like, how did I went from the dishwasher to retire at the age of 28? It was a one sentence. It was a one sentence. Somebody said that they're living they live in Denver. I was living upstate New York. I was finishing college, and they said one sentence. They truly did say it, that they have a 7 units apartment building, 8 units, and they live in one, rent the 7, and the 7 units pays them for the rent, and they have all the money. And I'm like, but what happened is, I already had the preparation. I remember at that time, I was with my girlfriend. It was my girlfriend family. I came home, and that's again being on a progress, being on the boat. I wrote a check for $50,000. I put on the refrigerator, and it's like, we're buying a fourplex. When we graduated from college, and she goes, there was 1994. Are you stupid? Like somebody's gonna come in, they're gonna see the check for $50,000. They're gonna steal the check. What our family is gonna think? Like, what the hell? but I was already working on self-improvement. So when the sentence happened, like I knew what to do.
Right.
And then the rest, it's a history.
Just different zeros.
Exactly. And then what happened is then I bought it. There was a first fourplex, second fourplex, third fourplex, and it's a history right now.
So you envisioned it, you wrote that blank check, your girlfriend jokes somebody's gonna steal it, or not steal it, but somebody, that's my Bronx coming back to me, right? The shit would have bounced anyway, I'm guessing.
Exactly, of course, of course.
Like Jim Carrey wrote him a check for 10 million.
Dude, but that's his story is like a lot later after I did it. Like this was mine was 94.
Your original.
Yeah, this
Jim
was
Carrey
like,
just been
but
living in that.
I have to read it somewhere. I have to saw it some kind of in commercials. I have to like already didn't come from nowhere. So I have to kind of like read something or already just see it something because I think this is
God, the universe presents this opportunity
Yes.
in the
You
form of
grabbed
a
it.
sentence
Yes.
to you.
yes.
The form of a sentence to me, this is how important one sentence will be, and that's the impact that we have on, our children, obviously, but on anybody we come across with. We don't know what we say and the impact it might have on them. My wife tells me one morning, she's like, your breath smells like alcohol. And I don't drink in the morning, I'm not an alcoholic or anything. I was like, no, I just rinse out my mouth with Listerine. She goes, no, your breath smells like alcohol like all the time. And that was it. That's all I needed to hear to get sober. After 25 to 30 years of just drinking a little more than I should and progressively getting worse, that one sentence changed my life because it's been the best 18, 20 months of my life since then. So we never know what we say and how it's going to impact someone else. And I just want to bring it full circle because I know we've got to step out. In terms of the mentors, we have levels. We talked about timing, right? This person comes along, tells you that sentence. My wife would have told me that sentence 6 months before. It wouldn't have had the same impact.
Exactly.
This
That
is presenting.
timing
is everything.
So you've had different
Timing.
mentors in your life. The connection here is Andy's my business partner, but I also, and I don't think I've ever told him this, but he's a mentor of mine because he's great
We
at.
teach each other.
We teach
we
each
vibe
other,
off
right?
each other.
But
We align. Our values align.
There's no clear boundaries as to what a mentor is. A mentor is a teacher. A mentor can be a coach. A mentor can be a partner that's more skilled in one area of their life. In yours, it's commercial real estate. In mine, it's familial bonds, right? That's something that I'm strong at, or I'm getting stronger at. So, and I know that Jarek now, on some levels, mentoring Andy. So there's
Very much
different
so.
levels. Who would you say at this point in your life is a mentor of yours, being that you found all this great success, but there's no end game because we love the journey and we love the chase.
Who do you look up to?
Really, it's God.
I love that.
And that's not my line. The second one, and I'm not BSing you. It's Matt Manahan line. Jarek Tadla 10 years from now.
Matthew McConaughey. I was just gonna say
Seriously.
that's so vibes. So vibes.
this-
Like 100%. Like
this-
who's my hero?
yeah.
It's me. In
Seriously,
10 years.
and not only
I'm
that's my
chasing
mentor.
that
What
guy
happened
every
is
day.
and it's funny. I challenge Raul like every time we meet. It's like, you gotta step up. Like you cannot stop growing because I'm not going anywhere.
Right.
We gotta, and we challenge ourselves, and that's like the same with me. I need to be better every day, and the problem this time, I don't put myself limits. A lot of times, I got every time miserable when I give myself a go. When I have $1 million, when I have $10 million, when I do Ironman, when I go to Olympics, when I have a 1 kid, when I have 2 kids, when I have 4 kids, when I finally have a son, and it's. I always was writing a goals that can be achievable, and then was hitting like, fuck, what next? What next? At some point, like if you have $1 million or you have a 10 million, but if you have a 10 or 20 or 20 to 30, there's no difference. It's still the same.
Yeah, right. Pretty much.
And I notice all those outside things, they don't bring any happiness. That's why I was like, you know what I mean? So I started looking for everything inside because suddenly everything outside, when you put an identity to something can be taken away from you. Like, I was married or I was like, suddenly I'm a 0.5% father. I mean, 0.5%, half of the time father versus 100% because I don't have kids. Like if this is taking away from you and you not fucking ready for this shit, you screwed. You're gonna end up like me, depressed, suicidal, you know, have all those plans, because suddenly whatever you built for so long, it's taking away. Nothing can be taken away. You know, my jets can be taken away, my buildings, my houses, all my homes, there are gorgeous homes everywhere, can be taken away, but nobody can take this. And God's gonna show me the way. You know what I mean? And even if He just show me the way, suddenly I'm end up with the great people around me. If I'm around people right now that withdraw energy, it was nice to meet you, motherfucker.
Yeah.
We're done.
Peace out.
You don't be out. Like, you know what I mean? We're not like-minded.
Yeah. The moment. I love that.
So I'm looking only for, I surround myself with like people that deposit energy. I'm like you're looking in the investments, in the buildings, in the businesses, return on investments. Now I'm looking on return on energy. You know what I mean? Mm-hmm. Like I love spend time with Daniel because like we talk and he leaves and I'm full of energy. Like, you know what I mean?
Same thing last night. He gets me excited.
Yeah, if he gets me withdraw the energy.
And I can see what Daniel does for you. He can show you that, hey, we can do this.
Yeah.
He brings that out of people. At dinner, I was like, holy crap, we can do that. And you do that. That's so amazing. I don't know how you have that ability. But I think it comes back to your raw vulnerability. And I think you're also always trying to be better. And you know, Ed Milet said it best. Is like, you know, the guy you don't want to meet on your deathbed is the guy you could have been. And I just feel like you're always chasing just being better and better and better. And I think that's addictive. And Daniel and I talked about that last night with Josh. We're always self-improving. And you tend to attract more self-improvement guys. Just like me and you. We're so close now, just like Josh as well and you. And I bet your friends are the same too. They're not going to be bad kids. They're going to be wanting to be better shape or sports.
He goes like that, don't do that. Because like everybody, all my friends are watching you. That's like that. Don't post me. Don't do this. It's like that. Like you.
Don't embarrass.
He posts the worst photos of me.
Yeah.
Texas crew, find the worst photos of
Patrick. My wife does the same shit to me. So let's wrap it up because I know we're busy. I honor and appreciate you guys taking the time out, but I really want to end it with you.
I agree.
Because you're the future, right? You're the mentee. You're the one that's a bigger sponge than the rest of us. What can you say that you've learned from just today? I mean, we're coming out of a great seminar, lasted all day. We just had a pretty meaningful, honest conversation with your hero and your mentor. What'd you learn today? What are you gonna remember?
My main takeaway today is that it's all about like your mindset. Like we were talking about this thing, and like whenever you're doing something bad, you always try to like, oh, you're so bad, you lose your confidence and stuff. But if you keep your mindset right, you could always like accomplish anything you want. So if you put your mind to it, you could do whatever you want. And that's really what like my main takeaway from today is. And like never think badly about yourself because it's gonna put you down and you're not gonna accomplish something that you want. Let's talk about with my group. If I'm playing soccer and I lose a ball, I'm like, oh, Patrick, you suck, you lost the ball. But if I'm like, oh, Patrick, you'll do better next time, like, good job, then I'll play better and I'll do better and I can accomplish more. And that's not even with just soccer, that's with like life, that's with everything. So that's like my main takeaway.
That's impressive.
Yeah, it's how you frame it. And at the end of the day, it all starts with belief. Yeah. And that can go one way or the other. And I'll end it with something Raul said today, which was pretty, I don't remember if it was Christian or Raul, or no, it was a guy who's sharing from the audience. And he said, every guy in here is a leader. It just depends what path you're leading people down. So it could be good or it can be bad. It can be negative or it can be positive. And your thoughts are leading your actions. So I can't think of a better way to wrap it up.
No, that's fantastic.
Thank you guys again for coming, giving us your time, and
thank you.
It was an honor to have you.
Thank you, Patrick.
Thank you,
guys. Thank you, man.
Appreciate it. We're always good.
Yeah, we're always
good.
Thank you,
my man. Hey, thank you.
We got one more. Sure, Fernando.
I have a question. I mean, all of you can answer, but I want to start with Dad over there. So there are going to be people, right, that aren't on your level, that are going to come around you, and they're immediately going to see opportunity. What advice would you give to someone like that maybe doesn't have the wrong intention, but they see an opportunity? How would someone like that build with you without giving you the impression that they're just trying to take from you?
You know, it's funny. Like when she asked me the question, I would answer completely different 5 years ago.
Me too.
But I would answer
A year ago, different.
Yeah, I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
I don't know if you were at the. I was. That really gave me goosebumps. Because I've been so hurt. And taken advantage financially. Every partner screwed me over. And I learned so much, such a big pain lessons. That was another reason why I ended up in so many depressions, suicidal. Because, and this is actually very deep message. What happened is, when something really bad happens, we are softwares, we are programmed, and it's like, oh look at, I don't want this, I don't want, so anybody who wants to get close to you, you don't get them close, and those might be a very, very good people, and you can get enormous, the breakthrough that can completely change your life. You know, like I just said one sentence. So what happened is, because I got, and I know I'm working on my cursing, you know, because, you know, somebody fucked me so bad. Yeah, well, that's another story I want to tell you too, but that's a good one. So I built this enormous bunker, like nobody's allowed here. But what I've done is I create this emotional jail and prison because I didn't allow anybody in it. Not only I did not allow anybody to fuck me financially, but I didn't allow anybody to love me. I didn't allow anybody to help me emotionally, mentally, because I built this. And what happened is, with years of being fucked over, the walls were getting thicker and thicker and thicker, so there's nothing could get through.
Cold and selfish.
So it's funny, and it's funny. Like Raul said, like how long did it take? You were there too.
Yeah.
How long did it take you? Like it took him 4 years, every single day. And what happened? Chiseled all the walls around me. You know what I mean? Right now, if somebody, like right now, I'm completely aware of it. And what happened is even the conversation are completely changing, because if somebody comes and like, not only that, my biggest asset, like, that's why I don't like to talk about money, about the, you know, like I told you, it's like, please don't say this like, you know, oh, it's nothing for you, or do you know what I mean? I don't want to be ever judged like how much money I have, because my biggest asset is not only my body, but my knowledge, not the money. If you get to the level that you want money from me, this is like you going to the least valuable part that I have. Why would you, like you have all the access to me right now, that you can make a lot more with the knowledge than me giving you money and giving you shortcuts. You know what I mean? So I can give you, like even my son, I can give my son $1 million and go start a business U13, or I can teach him how to do it and the mindset and all this stuff, going to the seminars and doing the hard work. And then he's gonna make us like, Dad, do you need $10 million, $100 million to, you know, find a deal? Yeah. So it's gonna be the other way around.
Yeah.
So I'm switching and those people that don't want to join, even like this, the conversation is not join. It does it. It's automatically. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's energetic.
You're giving it away.
You're giving it away.
At the end of the day, you're giving it away.
You're just sharing wisdom, and that's what we're trying to do.
Yeah.
And I think we're astute enough that we can kind of sense who's got selfish intentions and who's got bad intentions, more importantly, versus someone who may be ignorant to how to approach the question.
Yeah.
So I'll give you an example of giving it away. Me and Andy meet on a layover going to Tony Robbins' event in Chicago.
That story I want to hear.
We meet. All right, so here it is.
You should tell the whole story. This is kind of funny.
So I'm flying from New York to Chicago, then Chicago to Sun Valley, Idaho. Never heard of Sun Valley. I thought it was in California. It was a ski retreat. I thought it was in the mountains of California. So it's Idaho. Go to Chicago O'Hare. 5 minutes before the plane boards, canceled for weather. Holy shit. All right. The guy who had introduced us, I had seen prior to the plane boarding. He runs to get breakfast. I'm on my way to the desk to reschedule. Half the plane's going to this event. So now it's like the amazing race. Everybody's racing to get to the concierge
we're in Chicago,
to try to rebook and figure out what the options are. And I'm cool. I'm like, tomorrow's flight sounds
out.
good. The guy, Daniel Perez, shout out to Daniel Perez, introduces Andy to me
line at the
on the
customer
line.
service.
Andy's online, booking
I'm
with his
calling-
Amex people.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
calling
tomorrow's
Amex.
the best flight. We've got 20 minutes. People in front of us are getting
People are trying to
scheduled.
get
We're
jets
hearing
and buses and
We're
everything.
hearing
It's a
all the
mess.
options, and they all sound like shit. It's like drive
And we're
6
gonna
hours.
miss the
Yeah.
financial plaque, at Tony,
Yeah,
first day
we're
billionaire
all,
speaking.
we're all pretty
We're
laid
freaking
back,
out,
though.
but we're
all
trying.
pretty laid back characters. So the three of us just happened to say, fuck it. Tomorrow's flight, 9 a.m. Same flight, but tomorrow we got booked. Andy's like, yeah, you guys can stay with me. No big deal. So he has a condo in Chicago. Next thing you know, we're in an Uber. Less than an hour later from being canceled, we're at his, 69th floor, I think at the time, at the Trump, overlooking the Chicago River and Lake Michigan. And I'm like, well, this is one way to, fall into a layover. And he opens his home to us. Daniel, the guy who introduced us, who's also Tony Robbins Platt at the time, has a buddy who lives in the building. He looks up for Andy's Wi-Fi and sees his buddy's name on the Wi-Fi. It turns out he lives on the same line. One
Now
floor
we're
below.
all close friends. We're all Tony Robbins Platt guys.
So now we're sitting at lunch a couple hours later, and the guy who owns, optical places in Chicago, you got Andy, you got Daniel who runs the ground transportation. I'm like, oh, I'm the broke fucking guy at this table. This is great. This is exactly where I need to be.
This is exactly.
This is exactly where I need to be. Turns out I wasn't the brokest guy at the table. I just thought I was.
Mentally,
because
yeah,
that was what my, not good enough mentality says. So fast forward,
Limiting beliefs.
plane doesn't take off at 9 a.m. It gets scheduled, rescheduled. We don't take off till 7 p.m. So we're circling the airport. It's now John LaHara, good friend of Fernando's, who also stood on the couch, and he met him that night. That day we circled the airport and ate at the shittiest lounge and the United Lounge and hard-boiled eggs and salad bar. Andy's literally writing on the tablecloth napkin.
I was just trying to do a you.
Giving
so
it
what
away.
you did for me. Remember that 45 minutes?
Yeah.
Do this, move that, do this chess piece. And I spent the afternoon going,
Just teaching us.
let's just go through real estate. Because everybody talks about real estate, but nobody really does it. And one guy was doing single family homes, and I was like, you should look at apartment buildings. You should look at strip malls. Let me show you how I did it. And I just pulled a you, to be honest. And it was an amazing afternoon. We had pencils and napkins and papers. And I didn't want anything. We were just having fun, and I was trying to encourage.
And he changed my life.
I never had an intention of being
changed
best
that-
friends or buying a building together. That's all weird.
Three buildings.
Yeah, we spent $13
7
million
months.
in 7 months.
So I mean,
and that was
is-
never a thought. That was just.
That's the beauty of there are no coincidences.
I went to renew his vows with his wife in Costa Rica. We've been on 4 trips. We're in 3 masterminds together, and it was a year ago.
It started with the selflessness. He opened his home to us, and then he opened his knowledge to us. And what he got
That's
in
what you
return
did.
was
And
not
that's
only
why we vibe.
not only a
That is
business
why we
partner,
vibe.
but a true friend. And I'm not his friend because he's got money and I've got money and we've done so many parallels. We spent the whole week at that event because Tony Robbins, God bless his heart, they don't serve the best food in between
We
these
connected on, like,
skimpy
good
breaks at
meals.
12:30 in the morning. It's
14-hour
dinner time.
days.
We're like,
Freezing.
listen, we're going to this great restaurant they have at the resort, and we're just eating all week. And unbeknownst to us, we're building. And we're not talking business.
No, we
We're
never
talking
talk
life.
really money. We're just talking,
Talking
that's
life.
it.
We're getting to know each other. So we're just chipping away at, all right, I fuck with this guy. Like, all right, there's no bad intentions here.
But you see, that's exactly you guys from the day one. It wasn't transactional.
No.
And you guys were so
will be.
authentic and so raw and real. That's how the connection happened. If any one of you, that's what I just was telling you, if there are any fault of it's like, okay, I'm like this, that's where this connection it happens out right away. And that would never ever happen.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And with the time we learned, we know we recognize transactional.
Yeah,
like
I need
Right.
to pick your brain.
Yeah,
Can I pick your brain for an hour?
You know
We
what I
can
mean?
spot it. We
Yeah.
can spot it from a mile away.
Yeah.
So, to anybody
Well, another thing
who-
to add on to that, what I love is when they do that a lot. Obviously we've got some success, but they go, can I pick your brain? Can I grab your whatever? And you ask them, hey, go do some homework. The book that changed my life was Rich Dad, Poor Dad. Changed my whole life. At the age of 27, quit my job, and then went into the real estate game. But when I encourage someone, they want to learn everything I have, the best thing I would say is what you said to me, is work on yourself. And when somebody commits that to talk about Josh or Sean, and I said, go read this book, go do it, he literally was like, okay, done. Done, what next? And I was like, dude, I not only want the guy to be my best friend, someday, God willing, we will do business together, but I think that's inspirational. You want to be where I'm at? Are you willing to go through what I went through? Are you willing to read 3 books a week and disappear? I haven't drank in 3 years either, and I've done, a mastermind a month for 3 years. Are you willing to go through that? And I love that. And when I said, hey, go to this event, do this, read this book, do that podcast, you're like, done, done, done. And I was like,
because it's coming from a good source.
Right. I was like you tell me that people need people. And you said, listen to your heart and your gut. And that is so important.
And to really bring it full circle to what you can tell somebody who's here, we're all equal, we're all the same. But for somebody who's, maybe in life or professionally or financially here, and, we've been blessed enough to be here, what I would say to them is, to tie it into what you were saying, is, are you willing to invest in yourself? Because that $5,000 is not going to get you in the real estate game. That $5,000, yeah, you can scrap up your embroidery t-shirt hustle or side hustle, yes. But take that $5,000, take that $500, take that $100 and find a room that you can buy your way into where you're next to the people who have what it is that you want. I say it all the time. It's a broken record. Are you willing to invest in yourself? A night at the club, even when you're broke, costs you $50 to have a couple of drinks. Why don't you go save that money? Why don't you invest that money in, an entry-level seminar where they charge you $50 just to cover the cost of you being in the room? And yes, maybe they're going to upsell you, but it doesn't matter. That's what this is about. Taking an investment taking a chance on yourself and investing in yourself. So the most important thing that anybody who doesn't have, who wants, has to do to accomplish any level of success is put themselves around somebody who's found some level of success. Stop listening to the people that don't know shit. And that includes yourself, because you're going to be the one telling yourself you can't do something, but you don't know shit. You don't know what you don't know.
And the best, like, I'm getting goosebumps. Read, and read.
Absolutely.
The fucking $50, I'm getting goosebumps.
Yeah.
The fucking $50 in the bar can buy you 7 books.
You read 7 books last
7
week.
books.
We connected on that.
7 books.
7 books last
for $50.
week. I thought
what the drink's gonna fucking give you?
Yeah.
And what goes into a book is someone's year or 2 years of research and blood, sweat, and tears and
And then
knowledge
you find those
they're
people.
pouring into this
You know what I
book.
mean? And a lot
The
of
best discount.
a lot of people like me and my queen Jessica, it's like, babe, why I'm connecting to all of this stuff, all those books? Like, why I'm connecting? Like some book, like Outwitting the Devil. Like I read it like 3 times. Like, dude, like why you connected? Like because now I'm ready. Sometimes when we start reading, we're not ready. But some of them can touch. You know what I mean? I met Patrick David, and he speak with me like after a minute. And he's like, fuck, Jarek. Whoa. It's like, Jarek, read the book. Read the book. Dude, I opened the book.
That.
Yeah, I opened so right away. And I'm like you said, somebody tells me to do something, I do fucking 10 times. So not only about the book that he told me, about 10 different books by the fucking author. You know what I mean? It's like shit, so that must be good. You know what I mean? And there's like
Patrick noticed that.
Yeah.
And
you know what I mean? So yeah. So what happened is the same thing. I'm talking about PBD, Patrick David.
Yeah.
Yeah. And
He
this
noticed
is yeah.
Guarantee it. When you did that.
Oh, yeah.
Read this. Because how many times we say, go read this, go to this event. Are you willing to go through what I did and get up at 3 a.m. and study and read, or read the Bible, or pray, whatever it may be? How many times they actually do it? I'm so grateful you did, and you did it to Patrick David. Same thing, right? And you notice that when you say that. I just love that.
You know, it's like something like you said. My trainer, like when I was eating ice cream, and he worked with me for fucking 8 years, and I'm comfortable, right? So I'm 8. So I'm comfortable. I'm 8, right? And well, it's funny. I was 8 over there in my mindset. Now I'm fucking 5 or 4. You know, that's how funny it is. Yeah. And I'm eating my ice cream, and then he goes, "It's like, what are you doing?" I'm like, "It's a cheat day." He's like, "What the fuck is cheat day?" And this motherfucker doesn't have a fucking 6-pack. He got a 12-pack. But I never, like I worked out with him for 8 years. He never showed me his fucking stomach. And suddenly he just goes show his stuff. Motherfucker, I'm like, I dropped the ice cream. I never touched the sugar again. Fuck that shit. But yeah, guess what happened? What I did, right away, not only I did not eat out, what happened is, now he said, Jarek, stop doing the long-term endurance. So I stopped there, but then I went to Sam. Hey, what can I do? I started reading books, ordering books about diet. This is like, I want to get to the level. He said, no, I just told you quit ice cream. I didn't say no sugar. I just like, but Jarek took all the way, you know. Yeah, right. So then suddenly we connected. Motherfucker, you teaching me more than I know now. I'm like, dude, because you already have it, I got to get there. He's already in comfort zone, you know. He's an autopilot. Right. Yeah. But that's when you connect with those people, that's what it's like. I have something else I can give you the fucking money. Money, I will ruin you if I give you money. If I tell you, if I give you 12-pack right now, and he literally have a 12-pack, I'm not fucking joking. Like, boom, you got it.
Don't threaten me with a good
No,
time,
but
baby.
right, exactly, it's over,
like winning
right?
the lottery.
And then,
Right.
winning lottery.
You don't go through
pain.
So you want to
You have to
appreciate
go
it.
through pain.
Absolutely.
You know what I mean? Like I said, like I always tell these people, we are not grateful for what we have. The most skiers per capita are in Florida. The most scuba diver per capita are in Colorado. What the fuck?
What?
Because the most skiers per capita are in Florida because they don't have mountains.
So they go
skiing. The more scuba diver per capita are in Colorado because they don't have an ocean. So what happened when COVID happened, we closed the beaches, everything was closed. Everybody like, oh my God, they're closed. When was the last time you went to the beach? 5 years ago. Yeah. So what the fuck you bitching about?
Gratitude.
Because we have it.
Yeah.
We take it for granted. That's why when you reach the level 7, 8, 9, 10, when you kind of comfortable, that's where you start losing.
Right.
You know, and that's like, be hungry all the time. And you get the hunger by number one, by being grateful, by working on yourself, thanking God, and giving. When you fucking give, suddenly there's something that the karma just turns around and give you a lot more. And you're like, God, what did I do to deserve this? You know what I mean?
And I'll reiterate on this story on this. On the app with the Edge is so cool. To go back to that, the app, you have to do all these things, right? And some of it, did you show love today? Did you give today?
Yes.
And this is a funny story. So I'm in Chicago, and I remember this emphatically because I was like, I had a really bad day. Like a crazy bad day. Like everything that could go wrong went wrong. And because of the app, it said, did you show love today? And I remember telling Bianca, I was like, the only way I could feel better right now, and this may sound silly or stupid, but was I reached out to a charity to go speak with, and I said, let's go to the ATM. I couldn't get much, but give whatever cash is and give it away to homeless people. And I made her give away all the money on Michigan Avenue. That made my day better. Yeah. But it was from the Edge, like show love. I had a horrible day, right? Everything could go wrong. And giving away a few $100s to homeless, I don't care what they did with the money. If they bought alcohol, I don't care. But that made my day.
You reach that point you don't get.
Yeah. Right, you get like I don't know if you. I was like that was from the Edge. Like go, it made my day, and I slept amazing.
You can't
and
feel
she
sad.
Appreciated it.
You can't feel sad and grateful at the same time.
Yeah, you got
the ability to be able to go to an ATM and give away $400, $500, $600, whatever it is. You realize just how blessed you are.
Yeah, and it just changed your state of mind in a second.
Yeah.
I'm so thankful for that.
Most of the world lives on, $2 a day or less, is it? That we piss that away for shitty coffee at a corner. You can't even get Dunkin' Donuts for $2, let alone Starbucks. So it's easy to forget that because we live
in such an entitlement mentality.
But we live in a place where there's abundance. I mean, even our poor people in this country, it's a different level of poverty than I would imagine in Poland. It's definitely a different level of poverty than where my parents came from, with the Dominican Republic. My mom grew up middle class over there, and they had a latrine. That was their toilet, which, you basically had an outhouse, and you went and you dug a hole in the ground, and that was the toilet. And, that was middle class where we were from. So, anytime my family or my friends, get that entitlement mentality or want to think how bad things are And that's what the media would have us believe, right? Things are going to fall apart. It's finally going to fall apart. It's been falling apart forever. It's not going to fall apart. It's going to hold itself
Because they
together.
need to put the fear
Correct.
to control.
And they know that we live in fear. So I think it's our job
faith or fear
to give hope. I think it's our job in that, you know, metaphor of you going to an ATM and give it away.
Yeah.
Write on a napkin, give it away. How'd you get to, you know, whatever 9-figure, you know, success? Give it away. And then you'll get to the 10 figures. It's the only way to get to the 10 figures. At Platinum Finance, I had this breakthrough because I always thought billionaires were bad people. And Tony had, you know, I think 7 billionaires lined up. Tony Robbins has 7 billionaires, some virtual, some live. And I realized these are good people. You know, one guy got emotional talking about his grandchildren.
He cried. He was talking about his kids.
Paul Tudor Jones
We're like,
talking
you're
about his
That's
grandkids
exactly
and cried. And I was like, erased. Everything was erased. So my new
Society
mission,
wants you to think.
my new mission is to use hope as the tool to remove that bullshit belief system that money's the root of all evil. It holds us back because, again, you can't be grateful and sad at the same time.
Exactly.
You can't think money's the root of all evil and be successful at the same time. Those two things are so at odds that I feel it's my calling to erase that. You know, on the lowest level.
after divorce, and I said the money fucked everything up, you know, because all the entitlements, all this stuff. And I was using the biggest drug in the world is money.
Yeah.
It's not alcohol, it's not this. And he said, Jarek, you gotta stop saying that. Stop saying that. Stop saying that, because what happens by you putting this into the universe, you just putting this back to yourself. So we kind of work, we have a training and we have to stop doing it and I'll stop saying that. And going back to the billionaires and all the celebrities, and I was talking about it like yesterday, they go to Buddha, to monks, to all the stuff, to like that. They go to them, but it's never the other way around. The monk, Buddha's monk, they don't go to the billionaire. Hey, you know, can I have what you have? Yeah, I'm like, no, it's the other way around. And those guys got everything here, everything within them, and it's like. Those and they teach and they preach and they do all of it and they really just give. And it's never the other way around, because if there's a story, let's put it on this fucking camera, show me something, or just somebody completely just made it up to piss me off. But I don't know any monk that goes to a fucking billionaire, show me how to be happy.
Not a one.
There doesn't exist, right?
Yeah. In the history of the world.
Yeah. So that's why a lot of guys with money, because you know they went through a lot of pains. They go to awakening process spiritually, and they're like, shit, I was a douchebag. I gotta give it back. Yeah. And those motherfuckers give too much away because it's like, you know what I mean? I feel guilty. I have a moral hangover that I was so, you know, like I think there is no bad people in the world. There are only good people or bad people, but there is no bad people. The bad people are not awakened. They never, you know what I mean? They don't know what they don't know.
Place of selfishness to protect themselves,
exactly.
maybe like you were doing.
Yeah, so they don't get hurt, and you know, and they still hurt. So they don't know. They were not shaken up, and they were not awaking. So they kind of like hurt people, heal people.
You were unaware of it, and when I was unaware of it, by taking those drinks and going to the den or going to the man cave or being detached from the people we love the most, we were hurting them because we were hurting.
Are you kidding me? Last weekend, I took my daughter, 11 years old, to the daughter-father dance.
Oh man, those are great.
Dude, she was in heaven, you know, like opened the door for her, treated her like a queen. And I call and during divorce, my oldest daughter said, like, you never took us to father-daughter dance, blah, blah. It was a big deal. And it broke me, right? But when they were coming to me, dude, that's how fucking dumb I was. They were coming to me when they were 10, 11, like, you know, 10 years ago, 8 years ago. Wow, this father is going, my friend is going, wow, does this father fucking make as much as I do? Do they live in the house like that? Do they like shut up? I was so fucking dumb and arrogant, like all of it. Are you kidding me? That's what I was telling my daughters. And then I see like how much Like she was in heaven, dude. Like we came back from the dance. She was like, Dad, I feel like I'm celebrity. I called my oldest one. I apologized to them. My oldest one goes like, Taka goes like, Dad, did you give her a flower? Oh shit, I'm supposed to give her a flower? Oh, Dad, you fucked this shit up. Yeah. Well, I give her a bag. Well, you know what I mean? So, but
My wife organized it.
Yeah, dude.
I just showed up in my best suit.
Of course, because that's very important. Who also we're with. But
it's a team.
But it's like, you get to the level and then you don't know. So it's.
We don't know what we don't know.
Exactly. So dude,
We'll
that was
leave it
good
at
one.
that. We don't know what we don't know.
It's funny that we can go for hours.
Yeah,
I was
it'd be
thinking the
pretty
same,
easy.
but
Seriously.
I know you're a
Dude.
very sought after individual, so
Dude,
we gotta get you to
dude,
dinner.
dude,
Because
I
nobody's gonna miss us, but they'll miss your ass for
Dude,
sure.
Okay.